for the first panel, I have an excellent group of thinkers, minds, visionaries, evangelists, business people, all. For the opening panel, please join me inviting on stage here in person, Atle Fägersten from Palindrome. Big hand. Robert Lasic, Pieces Interactive. Big hand. Hello, good morning, gentlemen. Johan Hermerén, Embracer. Hey! Wow, welcome to the jungle. It's mad out here. Nice. I think also on link we have some bright minds. At least I'm told so. I hope we have Lars Wingefors from Embracer. Here he is. Good morning, Lars.
Hello, Per.
How are you doing?
Värmland calling. Do you hear me?
Excellent. Yes, can we have the votes from the Karlstad jury, please? Oh, sorry, that's also a forbidden joke. No Eurovision and no Corona jokes, please. Excellent. All right, so are you in the office now in Älvgatan?
Yeah, exactly. I'm in the office. You can watch the Lars Lerin painting in the back of me here.
That's
so it's
right.
a sunny morning in Karlstad.
I think that's probably the most beautiful conference room in the industry. I wish we could all be there, admiring your art. Excellent. Welcome. All right, and do we also have Jana on the line? Maybe? Oh, here she is. Hello, Jana. Hello,
Hi,
how are you doing? Good morning.
Good, thank you.
And where are you in the world?
Calling in from very cloudy and rainy Malmö today, actually.
And who's your favorite painter of the art that you have in your office?
Oh, I'm at home right now. Let me get back to you on that one.
All right, excellent. Maybe you don't need paint because games is your art.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or maybe not. We'll see. Okay. Welcome, Jana. Thanks for joining us. And let's also introduce the fine gentleman on stage. Johan Hermerén, long-term veteran of the industry. And did you start your business and your career here in Skövde back when?
Yes, exactly. In 2008, it was a small company called Short Fuse, which was glorious at the time for about a year.
Excellent.
And then other things happened.
Excellent. You moved on to greatness. Robert Lasic.
Yeah, I also started out in Skövde back in 2005, 2006. I think it was with another company that was great for a short period of time called Colossi.
That's right. Colossi. All right.
Yeah.
It's almost like Mount Rushmore up here with the founding fathers. Axel. Atle. I'm just checking if you know your name.
Yeah, also started here in Skövde a bit, or not as late as these guys, but 2015 we started our studio.
Excellent. Palindrome.
Yeah.
Perfect. We'll get back to your business in a little while. But I'll go first to Lars. I think you and I first met, speaking of old times, I think you and I first met in something around 2001 or 2002. Back then you were doing games distribution, packaged goods in a box. I think SSD was the name of the company back then.
Yeah, Scandinavian software distribution. So all about packaged goods. But actually, back then, I sold the business already to a British.com that were super early doing mobile games and download games, and they were just way too early. And the anecdote about the founder of that business, Gameplay, he founded a business called Virtual Reality that went public in the mid-90s. And talking about going public and virtual reality, I think it's now 25 years later, it's kind of happening.
Yeah, he was ahead of his time.
Ahead of his time, yeah.
As we say. Entrepreneurs never fail, they're always just ahead of their time.
Yeah.
I think I also was ahead of my time, actually. All right, and then you had. I was so impressed because you had another business called Game Outlet, and you took the overstock games that nobody could move, and then you put them in what bargain bins at like supermarkets or hypermarkets, and it was part of the business.
Kind of invented a new channel for the mass market to buy all these fantastic games that no one would like to buy at full price. So games became old, within days or a few weeks, and put them through discount stores. So that's kind of where the business back then.
So that's about the history. But my question then is there anything from these business strategies that is useful today? Have you used the same method, or has your method changed with the industry?
Obviously, the industry has changed a lot. I think personally, I have the great love for all the IPs, and I think that is coming back to our business today, and all these niche RPGs and all the Japanese games and so on. And when we have been acquiring a lot of IPs and so on, and I think that really goes back to the 90s, early 2000. But looking from a business perspective, I feel that we are kind of the underdogs with the very big players. And back in the 90s, my big competitors was like Bonnier and Panvision and all these big guys. And today there's other big guys that we kind of competing with. And I just love this dynamic industry. We are a big family, but obviously there is a bit of good competition as well.
All right. Well, thanks, Lars. Stay there for a minute. I want to go to Jana now. I'm mixing languages. Like you wouldn't believe. I'm like, now you see me, now I'm Swedish, now I'm English. Here we go. Jana, where are you? I want to talk to you.
Yes.
All right. So Jana, you have a different business model because you do assignments. You sell game development to corporate clients. Is that right?
That's right. Yes, and we not only work with game development, but with different kinds of new technologies such as virtual reality and augmented reality, or what have you, depending on the needs of our clients. But with the help of gamification, yes.
Oh, that's the key word, gamification. And how is the business world, how is the corporate world responding to this?
Well, I'd say that actually these days with all the lockdowns we're seeing in the world, there are a lot of new opportunities for us, for instance, because people are kind of thrown headfirst into the digital world and they don't know what to make of it. I had an email just this morning, actually, from a big company, international, who are in a business that is heavily regulated and quite conservative, but they themselves were asking for help with gamification for their training solutions. So there's a great need to get advice and to get help with using innovative tools and ideas for this new world that we're finding ourselves in right now.
But the main part of the Swedish industry, at least, is focused on consumer games. Why is that? Would you invite more game developers to join your part of the business, or are you happy to be like the top dog, the fat cat with no competition?
No, I think it's needed. I mean, we're still a small studio. There are only 20 of us at the moment, and we can't handle all the requests that we get at this moment. So I think there's a lot of opportunities around for this if people are open to, maybe sometimes doing something else than their own IP.
What would you say is the biggest difference from making games for clients versus consumers?
Well, obviously, you have to consider the client's needs and wishes. That's the first and foremost. So you cannot just go and design whatever you want to design, but it depends on, obviously, the budget you get from the client, because you agree on a price beforehand, usually, rather than developing something which you're going to sell later. So it's a bit of a different way of thinking about it.
All right. Thanks, Jana. We'll come back to you in a minute. Now I want to go to the people who are here with me on stage.
Yes.
It's so nice to see, like, you're in 3D. I could touch you, but I'm told not to for different reasons. So you all started in this city, and you're all still here, right? Or did you go
I'm
away.
almost here. I'm in Gothenburg, you know, a suburb to Skövde, so it's like an hour away. So it's
So,
really here.
I'm under the impression that you. Okay, yeah. We'll bring that to Gothenburg later. I get the impression that you came here to study, right? But what made you stay?
I mean, it was good people. I mean, a friend. I actually didn't study at this university. I studied in Lund, of course.
A suburb.
Yeah, that's actually one of the better cities in Sweden. But anyway, some friends studied game development here in Skövde and decided to start a company. So they asked me to come up and join them, and I told them no way. You know, studying in Lund, you know, this really good university. I had big plans to work for, you know, one of the EY, Deloitte, you know, that kind of company.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah, really fun. I thought this was like the best goal ever. And they continued to call me, and I said no. And they called me, I said no. And they called me, I said yes. So I moved up here and started Short Fuse at the incubator here in Skövde, and stayed for about, I think, 8 years. Not only doing Short Fuse, I did pieces with Robert. I worked at the incubator at the point as well. So, and I'm always coming back.
Yeah.
So.
But what's the magic sauce?
The magic sauce, it's quite easy. You know, it's a really good university with a really strong education, you know, in the basic fields of programming, art, design, and that kind of stuff. And also really good incubator, which works really close with the university. I think it's nice that the city is small, so you can actually concentrate on working on stuff, and, you know, the distractions are not that enormous.
Right.
So
Yeah, I see a future for you as a diplomat.
yeah, I think so too.
Robert, what made you stay?
I mean, I came here in 2002 from Malmö, and straight after university, we were just a group of students who really didn't have any plan. So we tried our waters and started a company at the science park, and that's basically why we stayed. So we did that for like 4 years, 5 years, and I got to know Johan as well through Short Fuse. And I mean, we merged our companies into Pieces Interactive, and we feel Skövde is it's an amazing place to be. There's this community, this university, the game arena, and I mean, there's been enough success here now that eyes are pointed towards us, which is always nice. Yeah. And now I have a family, so I want to stay.
Oh, yeah, roots.
Yeah, exactly.
Atle, what's your excuse?
It's pretty much the same story as Robert. Actually, we started the studio. The studios continue to grow here, and I think the reason we stayed is that we see a lot of potential in Skövde. There's not really a need to go to one of the bigger cities. We have been able to draw some senior staff here, and there's always an influx of junior developers that are interested in staying in the city and developing here as well. So there hasn't been that need, and it feels like Skövde is growing together with the game industry, so there's not really, a need.
All right, but is there like an end point? Do you see, can this go on forever with the students and the talent and the community and all the love that you said and the lack of distraction? Will this go on forever, or do you see any cloud on the horizon?
I mean, forever is a very long time, but no, not really. I think the game industry is growing, Skövde is growing, and as long as new people are picking up games and games are becoming more and more available to more people, there's not really an end of gamers, and then I think we can continue to grow as game developers.
All right. Well, let me go to Lars, because you decided to partner with this event. Why did you do that? Against... no, sorry. Now I almost did a stupid joke again. Sorry. Lars, go ahead.
No, but it's a good question, obviously. But for us, Skövde is the #1 ecosystem in Sweden, and obviously for us it's very important while we're building our own ecosystem to support the industry and ecosystem you have in Skövde. And now, we being a more substantial partner to many companies, I think it's just very important to support the incubator and the university, and obviously, being present and having the companies now on stage, and as well as Coffee Stain in Skövde. It's just a place we want to be.
Well, that's nice, and we're all very polite here, and I like the place too. I can recommend the hotel. Do we have a partnership with it? Should I? Anyway, but Lars, you do business all over the world. You have investments in many different places. You've acquired companies, many different cultures. You have like the bird's eye view. What is special? Well, you already said what's special about Skövde. What could Skövde do better then?
No, I think Skövde is just doing just fine, and you know, I'm from another suburb, Karlstad, which is quite similar to Skövde. So personally, I really enjoy Skövde, and I think it's you know, you have reached a critical mass of having that ecosystem with companies, the school, and people, and now people getting families. So we want to be super long term and support the people there, and hopefully, you know, adding more great talents to our studios or finding more talented studios in the future.
All right. Let the record show that I tried to get him to say something critical. What should other places learn from Skövde then? Is there something that can be repeated in other places?
Well, I'm sure, and we're trying to build, you know, another very small ecosystem so far in Värmland, which is not that far apart from Skövde. But you know, again, you know, the gaming industry is huge, and there is a place to build similar ecosystems elsewhere in Sweden and in the world. But I just think Skövde, you know, is a benchmark of creating such thing in a smaller city. So I'm sorry, Per, but I don't have a lot of criticism to tell you today.
Yeah, I'm so disappointed. Let's see if Jana can do better. Jana, do you have any connection to this place?
Well, I do actually, Per. It's interesting that you're asking me. I think I'm one of the few people in the Swedish games industry that was actually born and raised in Skövde.
What? It's crazy! Wow! What a scoop! Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. So I was born at the Kärnsjukhuset, and funny enough, when I was 6 years old in 1983, I took my first computer course in a basement in a house in Vasastan in Skövde. It was a little group of boys, me and one other girl, and I had a love of gaming, but I never had my own computer. However, I didn't have as much praise for Skövde as the rest of you, since I just wanted to leave that town as quickly as I could, which I did. This was before gaming was the thing at the university. It was a lot about multimedia and so forth, but it hadn't grown to become more than that. But I'm really happy to see the way that Skövde has evolved, and who knows what the future brings.
And you moved to another suburb of Skövde, also known as Big Gothenburg.
Yeah. Well, I moved to Gothenburg, and then I moved to, which is Little London, and then I moved to the real London, but now I'm in Malmö. So.
All right, great. So let's talk about the future then. Jana, what do you see going forward? So we're all very happy now. It's been going great. We'll release some new big numbers in a minute. What do you see as the main factor for continued success?
I think the point where we're at now, it's a lot down to the people. I mean, if people can find a way to change and cope with the new circumstances that we're in, which is, of course, very individual. But previously, there has been talk about digital illiteracy. So I think now, if you're pandemic illiterate, then it will become very hard for you. I think we need to find innovative solutions on a personal level as well to cope in this new world. But of course, there are a lot of opportunities as well. So, for instance, with a lockdown, I don't see the need to go on competing about limited resources locally or regionally or nationally, because the virtual borders have been opened. So, I mean, really, there is no need. If everybody's working from home anyway, then why don't we open up those borders a little bit more, and also make use of asynchronous work and the opportunities that remote work brings, so we don't have to replicate the office online, so to speak. So I think there are a lot of big opportunities, but we need to find ways to work creatively still.
And a lot of these opportunities you capture with gamification. So there are some learnings from commercial games that can be applied to these practical solutions. Is that?
Yes, definitely. And I mean, a lot of industries have for a long while been very curious about the games industry. I mean, I know that Volvo, for instance, in Skövde has been in touch with game studios and so forth, and that need is still there or even greater these days. So.
Yeah, I don't want to support the pandemic. I think the pandemic is bad. I want the record to show that. But it's great that some people can do good things within that, inside of that. Thanks. All right. Almost religious. Where did the irony go? I'll try to bring it back. Johan,
Yes.
Robert, Atle, what do you see as the biggest drivers of growth and success for, let's say, the industry as a whole, but feel free to use your own businesses as examples. Who wants to go first? Johan points to Robert. Johan just volunteered you. What's the biggest driver of continued growth?
I mean, I'm probably not the best person to answer that, but I mean, just the continued creativity.
This was the question you told me you
exactly.
didn't want before.
but I think just
I did it again.
just the continued push on creativity and passion, and having entrepreneurs willing to take the risk and start up new companies is gonna keep the market going forward, I think. And the fact that more and more people are playing is also nice.
That helps.
Yeah.
That helps. But yeah, the creativity, and that's what we talked about before. The passion for making games is really why people start in this business in the first place.
Yeah, I think all companies here in Skövde are basically started by people who just love games. Yeah.
I would almost go so far as to say that if you don't love games, you're never going to make it in this industry.
Probably not.
Somebody disagrees? Anton, is there somebody on the Discord that would comment on that? Can you make it in the games industry if you don't love games?
Probably not.
Yeah. Let's see if somebody has a comment to that. Go on your Discord, hammer those keyboards, go crazy. Use only caps to express how. Yeah, exactly. Trump style, somebody said. We don't make policy jokes here. I'm increasing the ban now. It's Corona, it's policy, it's something that I forgot.
We have a question here.
Oh, really?
What kind of cooperation between the university and companies in Skövde would you like to see?
What kind of cooperation between the university
and companies in Skövde would they like to see?
They've already talked about how great it is with the collaboration and the atmosphere. I think this is somebody who didn't get their project approved. Yeah, anyone?
I think the communication and cooperation is pretty good as it is. I mean, I don't think I have anything to add.
No, I think it works quite well. Even if the cooperation maybe isn't that nailed down, it kind of happens organically with everyone being so close to each other. I mean, the science park is just under a bridge from railroad to the Högskola, and the incubator is right there as well. So I think the cooperation just kind of happens, and of course it can be improved with maybe some more structure. But as it is right now, I think everyone wants to cooperate and sees the value of cooperating. So it happens through events like Sweden Game Conference as well.
So tell them the answer is to hang out with the devs, and everything will be fine. Lars, I'm not finished with the growth driver question. What's the biggest trend that you see that's bringing our industry forward? You can only choose one. Only one.
Wow. Well, we were not supposed to talk about digitalization and COVID and increased gaming. So, what I see more in the short term, from my view, is obviously the new technologies or platforms coming that keeps me kind of excited. That virtual reality now finally became a commercially viable platform after 30 years or 25 years. and we just had our first major investment a few weeks ago with a developer. And obviously the whole new generation of consoles coming, which I think hopefully excites our developers across the group to bring some amazing new games out there in the coming years. I think that is kind of for us, key factors for what I see right now.
All right. What about the question? Can you make it in the games industry if you don't love games?
No, I think well, you could. I think you need to have passion. Passion for people and the products and the gaming industry. Obviously, what is gaming? Gaming is so wide today. Everything from Tetris to the RPGs. So I guess everyone is a gamer in some sense. So, but if you don't have the passion for, at least from my view, to create something and to work with people and to create a business, I think it's kind of impossible.
Okay, good. So I'll take that to my notes, and I still haven't found anyone who says, is it yes or no? That's the weird part of phrasing a question negatively. All right, so we talked about gamification, we talked about virtual reality. Let's do some more buzzword dropping. What about streaming games, Lars?
Well, streaming obviously is already here now, and I'm kind of very excited that Amazon announced their new platform a few weeks ago, and we have lots of games on Stadia, and they are an important player. And now we have xCloud as well coming along. But I think we're all waiting for this kind of commercial breakthrough, and obviously I hope that streaming will enable a lot of new gamers that is not really playing the real games that I sometimes state that premium games are, that we are creating, like perhaps outside our core markets in the West and core audiences, to try out our products. And I think that hopefully streaming will bring in the coming 5 and 10 years. But I think right now people just very aggressively are investing into their platforms.
It's almost the way we talked about virtual reality 5 years ago. Waiting for the commercial breakthrough, somebody has to invest in the platform. All right, next up, next buzzword, user-generated content. Go.
Wow. Obviously, I think, I don't know if I'm the right, I think you should send that question to the panel here, to talk more about the games and how important that could be for them, how they work with the community and all that. Embracer, we do so many things, and we have 130 games under development. So I think Johan, Robert, and Atle are perfect
yeah,
guys answering that question.
That's what we call a kompispass.
Nice.
Anyone? User-generated content.
I love that kind of mechanics, engaging users. The game gets a longer life, and people have a chance to, do whatever they want to do with the game. One of the earliest businesses with Embrace is THQ Nordic, and I know it's a lot of guys coming from the modding scene, and I think it's looking at the big games out there, maybe not our games, but Dota, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, all that games comes from the user generated field. So I think it is really, really important from both a business perspective, but also for the good of the industry to bring along the gamers and make them do stuff as well.
All right, nice. So let's turn this a little bit darker now, and I want to go to Jana again because I want to know about problems. What keeps you up at night? What's your biggest fear? What could put an end to our success?
Well, I think problems in general right now is just about the daily life of running a business. That's kind of a headache enough for me. I think it's kind of hard to be at a stage where we're at, which is around 20 people, which means that you're kind of too big to be like a really small, quick studio, and it's too small to have specialized roles for taking care of certain problems, recruitment, so forth. How are we going to get a hold of the people that we need?
But what about longer term?
Longer term, I'm not worried. I'm generally positive thinker when it comes to longer term.
Okay, not the cloud on the horizon. Let's see if our panelists can do better. What's your biggest fear? I mean, for the industry, not monsters under the bed or anything like that.
I mean, for us, short term has been the current situation with just keeping everything up and running when people working from home. But that worked out quite well, actually. For us, our biggest challenge right now is, I think, finding senior staff and getting them to move here. We have a great influx of junior people from university, but the seniors are a bit harder, so we have to broaden our search.
Mm-hmm. To the suburbs.
To the suburbs such as Malmö, Stockholm, Gothenburg.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I hate when you have to do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else has a fear, Atle?
I think generally just competition right now between studios, both for selling the games that we create and for, as Robert mentioned, personnel. That's one of the big challenges I feel we're experiencing in Sweden. I think long-term solutions, as Nadia mentioned, we may be looking into more global recruitment and maybe closing or opening borders a bit more, like electronically. So, but long-term, I'm still excited.
But that's interesting. You said competition with other studios in selling the games. I don't hear that a lot because the market is growing and every game competes on its own merits. But what do you mean with
I think that maybe more visibility rather than maybe consumers buying. I think there's still the limited amount of places where people buy games. I guess Epic Store is coming up more and more and taking the market share from Steam, so there's a little bit more places where you can actually sell your game, but it's still like, if you don't have that first day one splash on Steam, you're likely to not get the sales that you maybe want.
So it's like you don't really have enough control of your visibility. Your fate is in somebody else's hands. Maybe.
A little bit, yeah.
Interesting point. Let's see if we can catch that in other conversations during the day. Anton, do we have anyone else? I'm sorry, was I too rough on the first person?
I think it's fine. There's been a very interesting discussion here about if you can make games if you don't love games. And some people think so and some people think not. But we also had a question how we can cooperate better with other universities from Skövde. For example, Gotland, and
I think that's the same person.
Yeah, we have several accounts, I think.
Such a smart move.
But yeah, the general consensus here is that they don't agree. No, but one question is how would it be different to start a company now compared to maybe 10 years ago when you found your original companies?
That's a good question. Let's hear it.
Well, I don't know. I haven't started a company in a while. I don't think. I think it's perhaps a better spot to start a company now. I mean, one of the strongest guys out there are the content creators, the guys who make games. I know, it's a ton of offers on the table from distributors, platforms, whatever. There are more publishers now than ever who wants great games. So I think it's probably better now. Maybe you can say something, Atle, the newest on the floor.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I think that the investment in the business has increased a lot from not just publishers within the industry. I think a lot of other financial institutes are opening their eyes to the business. So I think a lot more people are investing in startup companies. So I think it's easier now than ever.
Easier now than ever. Okay, we're almost out of time. I want to end with giving you each one wish. Yes, that's true. Professor Per Backlund, in all his power and grandness, he granted me the power to give you one wish. So each of you gets one wish, and you have to keep it in 5 seconds. And I'm talking so you can think a little bit. But you get one wish, and I start with you, Juan.
I would like to fly again.
Oh, brilliant.
Man, I was going to say the same. I want COVID to be gone so we can keep on our normal lives.
Okay.
I want more COVID. No,
So bad. So bad.
no. I guess open borders.
Open borders. Lars, you have one wish.
No, but again, sorry for being boring, but I just missed the handshakes and making deals, and I love traveling again. So please let me travel. I tried to enter Hungary yesterday, impossible.
Oh, wow. All right, we want to hear that story, but another time. Jana, you have one wish.
A COVID vaccine that works. No.
Excellent. Thank you. Great, and thanks for keeping it short. Okay, Professor Backlund, you heard them. Now deliver.